Talk about being a white illegal immigrant in America. I was born in America, but my father was not. He was born in Sweden. My parents, when they got married, they came over here legally. My dad got a work visa and then a green card. Eventually, my father lost his job, his green card expires, and he stays in America. My father is now considered an illegal immigrant. My father was arrested multiple times, did drugs, all while not having legal documentation. They never once threatened to deport him.
Currently, there is a lot of conversation about deportation because we've seen ICE deporting Hispanics, Blacks, Latinos. People have a lot to say about that. For some citizens in America, they are very excited with what the government is doing regarding deportation. Some are even saying that the immigrants should leave because they are taking their jobs. The video coming up is on UK citizens making such statements, and some American citizens also have made such statements in the past.
They're taking all our jobs.
What qualifications do you have?
None. They're taking all the qualifications as well.
What's an issue is immigration to you?
Well, I can't get a job. They come to this country and they just get a job just like that.
So when you apply, what do they say to you?
Well, I've got a criminal record. Assault. Yeah.
How long ago?
Well, I've been out of prison now 3 years now.
And so you blame immigrants rather than your criminal record?
You're getting $2,000 a month.
Yeah.
The problem is you're spending too much. You can't fill up a bottle if there's holes in it. If you're spending everything you get, you're never going to fill up your bottle. I've already been through what I'm preaching. This is why Netflix.
You cancelled your Netflix?
But I cancelled everything. My outgoings were minimum. I paid rent, I gave my baby my money, and I paid my phone bill, and I bought food. I sacrificed because I didn't want to be in this job forever going around in a circle. It can be done. There's people who come abroad with no qualifications, no nothing, get jobs and work past people that have been in this country forever. It can be done.
Immigrants, especially the undocumented ones, are doing jobs that citizens usually avoid to do. Labor-intensive jobs with low payment, such as in agriculture, caregiving, and janitorial works. The citizens don't want to do such works because, one, it's tedious. Secondly, low payment. According to US Bureau of Labor Statistics and Economics, immigrants actually complement native workers rather than replacing them at their workplace. In fact, immigrants keep the economy running. They fill up job shortages, they bring innovation, and they also support the aging population. You should do some research on Japan and their aging population. They have more aging population, which means they will have less workforce.
Illegal immigrants are stealing American jobs. No, they're not. How many times did Timmy or Todd or Tucker actually go to school and dream about being a dishwasher? How many of these, Stanley Cup toting moms was actually pushing their children to be bricklayers or farmers? Immigrants aren't coming here to steal American jobs. They're taking whatever job they can get that most Americans don't want to do them. How many kids grow up nowadays to get a part-time job at McDonald's? If immigrants were the problem, then why is McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's offering like $22 an hour to get people to work? Oh, illegal immigrants are taking our tax dollars. No, they're not. They're actually paying taxes and they can't get a refund. Well, illegal immigrants, when they come to this country, they're taking our benefits. No, they're not. Because without a valid social security number or any kind of documentation, they can't apply for any of that stuff. So how are they getting that out of it? Well, illegal immigrants come here and, they're just breaking the law. And then why is ICE going to construction job sites? Why is ICE going to churches and schools and to, immigration offices to detain illegal immigrants? ICE is going to everywhere other than where actual criminals are. Seems spineless. The fact that they're wearing a mask, even gutless. Now they have a backup with National Guard. And you've got Washington screaming he wants $3,000 a day. Care if they're kids, sick, dying, alone, doesn't port the port. What do you guys think?
Undocumented immigrants are not bad for America. They are overrepresented in hard labor jobs that most Americans say are jobs Americans don't want. Undocumented immigrants pay about $100 billion in taxes, making benefits they don't receive cheaper for Americans. Undocumented immigrants commit fewer crimes, half as likely as U.S. citizens to be arrested for violent crimes. Undocumented immigrants might be good for America.
So the question here is this: why are some Americans angry at the immigrants? Why the anger? It stems from difficult living conditions, high cost of living. People are struggling to feed, high cost of food, hike in the price of groceries, rent, transportation, stagnant wages. People can't find job, unemployment. So they are pouring their frustration on illegal immigrants and also the legal ones, because to them, what makes sense to them is this: those people are the ones taking our jobs. They are the reason why we cannot find jobs. They are the reason why we cannot find houses to rent. They are the reason why there is hike in the price of house rent, because we now have more population, more people going after houses. And remember, once there's increase in demand and less supply, there's going to be hike in price because of scarcity, competition, and all that. From all I have said so far, immigrants are just the scapegoats here. Americans are pouring their anger on immigrants. They should be focusing on the government and not the immigrants.
People are broke, and now there's proof showing up in the numbers. Kellogg's reported an 8.6% drop in cereal sales. Crocs pulled its entire financial forecast. Heineken says people are drinking less. And even global giants like Nestle are seeing sales fall across the board. And what's scary about this, it's not about cutting luxuries. People are walking away from everyday items. Candy, snacks, fast food, takeout. Last Saturday, I went for lunch at a popular restaurant. Usually packed at noon, we expected a wait. Instead, we were just a handful of people there. Because consumers are cutting back hardest on items that bring joy. Chips, chocolate, going out to dinner. Not because they want to, because simply they don't have the fucking money. And companies know it. Forecasts are being pulled. Behind the scenes, they see the truth. Demand just isn't slowing. It's fucking collapsing. After 5 brutal years, Americans are barely hanging on. And now the administration slaps tariffs on top of it. It's like throwing gasoline on an already burning house. These families are one missed paycheck away from financial collapse. Americans aren't tightening belts anymore. They've run out of fucking notches.
Is it tariffs? Is it price gouging? Look at these prices in my small hometown of Aurora, Washington.
Let me show you what $121 gets you grocery shopping in Montana. In total, I have 23 items. 23. These were 50% off. That one's expired. This was my most expensive purchase. It is organic grape juice. These eggs, thank you Drummond, Montana. They were the only eggs that were a reasonable price. They were $5. The other egg options were $9 or $15. So shout out to Drummond, Montana, for reasonable egg prices in this economy. Anyways, 23 items, $121. At that rate, I will be starving soon. So, that's fun.
So you said undocumented immigrants are the reason wages are low, housing is expensive, and the price of goods is up. But no, undocumented immigrants aren't tanking your wages. Corporate greed is. You think it's Jose, the farm worker, setting your paycheck? No, it's the CEO who made record profits but still cut your hours back. And if you're mad that immigrants get paid less, then we agree on something. That's exploitation. But instead of blaming the worker getting screwed, maybe aim that anger at the company doing the screwing. And as for they're raising demand for housing and goods thing that you got going on, yeah, you know who else does that? Babies, retirees, literally any person in the economy. That's just being alive. And the idea that they're all getting all the benefits has already been debunked. They're not eligible for welfare, food stamps, or Section 8. They pay billions in taxes and get nothing back. So, no. It's not about immigrants crashing the economy. It's about a system built to squeeze working people, and you're falling for the distraction play. Immigrants don't cut your paycheck. They didn't raise your rent, and they're not the ones hoarding the wealth. You're punching down when you should be flipping the damn table, my man.
Who are the people benefiting from this narrative that immigrants are taking the jobs? Obviously, the companies. They are just using this narrative as a distraction, just to take the mind of the citizens away from their benefits, from how the big companies, the big industries are benefiting from having the immigrants to the country. Billion-dollar companies rely on cheap labor, cheap immigrant labor from farming, construction, or tech internships. Even some lawmakers and elites are benefiting from the immigrant labor, but you have these people speak against immigrants in public just to score political points. The truth here is this: it's not about immigrants taking the jobs. It's about a system that is not protecting the workers or even ensuring fair wages.
Hey, it's Joe from Georgia. Well, politics has jumped in to the Trump administration on how they're going to handle ICE raids on restaurants, hotels, and farms, also to include meat packing plants in that, and aquaculture farms across America. And the reason this is happening is because these employers and supporters of Donald Trump are coming to him and his administration and telling them that these raids are affecting them more than they ever imagined, to the point to where some businesses are looking at closing down because they don't have the employees to continue, because Americans will not do these jobs. Usually because they're lower wage paying, or they're very much manual labor, which Americans aren't really good at. So the Trump administration now knows it's affecting people who supported him, so he's going to pull back. So for political reasons, Donald Trump will allow illegal immigrants to work in America as long as in businesses that support his agenda.
Translate this for you. A whole bunch of people that donated a whole lot of money to Donnie and MAGA just called up the White House and screamed their heads off that their farms or hotels were going to go under if these ICE raids continued, and that we were going to start to have food shortages if those people couldn't pick the food. And he just admitted that a lot of these undocumented immigrants are very good, long-time, skilled workers who will be almost impossible to replace. It sounds like they're doing jobs that are so specialized and skilled that our society requires them in order to function.
Let's talk about immigrants creating jobs in the US. Some people believe that immigrants are twice as likely to create a business in the US compared to a US citizen. Many immigrant job creators are doctors, engineers, and researchers on visa. Qualified immigrants are filling shortages in areas where Americans aren't qualifying to fill fast enough. So imagine what is going to happen should Trump stop immigrants, qualified immigrants, from coming to the country.
Well, Trump just stopped all of the J-1 visas for the over 6,000 medical residents who are supposed to be starting in the United States this July 1st. So let's talk about the absolute craziness that is about to ensue.
So while we were sleeping, nearly 7,000 J-1 visas for doctors who are starting July 1st were paused. Residents were supposed to be getting these in June. Here's a message from the Foreign Medical Graduate Commission saying that everyone should be on pause. And here's the over 6,000 medical professionals who are supposed to be starting.
If the administration does not pause this immediately, we are going to have absolutely huge effects on healthcare, and you, the patient, are going to be paying the price.
Tag your senator, tag your favorite doctor.
I want to talk about something that's not getting nearly enough attention. I spoke about the freeze on J-1 visas, but this freeze and the spike in migrant arrest and the ripple effect it's having on senior care in America needs to be discussed. Now, here's the truth here. Most J-1 visa holders in healthcare are the international medical graduates who are foreign doctors who come here to do their residencies or fellowships. But some nurses, public health professionals, and educators also enter the U.S. through specialized J-1 programs. When those programs are paused, guess who feels it most? Underserved hospitals, rural clinics, and elder care facilities. Places already struggling to find and keep staff. But here's the bigger picture. It's not just the J-1 freeze. It's the migrant labor crackdown overall. And that includes caregivers, home health aides, and nursing assistants, many of whom are immigrants working here on other visas or they're undocumented. They are the visible engine behind senior care. They feed, clean, dress, and support our elders. Without them, families are scrambling. Seniors are left unattended. Nurses are burnt out. And let's be real, a lot of Americans aren't lining up to take these jobs, especially at the wages and conditions that exist right now. So when this person asked me, what about senior care now that so many migrants are being arrested? My answer is, that's exactly the crisis. We're pushing out the very people holding our care systems together. This isn't just about immigration. It's about human dignity, healthcare, and what kind of country we want to be. So if you care about the elders in your life and the people who care for them, share this, because silence won't fix it. But awareness might be the first step.
Villainizing a sense of otherness, specifically with respect to immigrants, is literally the oldest trick in the political propaganda machine. Open a history book and you will find it documented for literally every country on this earth through the course of time. The reason it's used so frequently is because it's a brilliant ploy. It distracts, it divides the public, and it consolidates power. But we're not stupid. You're not stupid. So I would like to take this time to break the cycle of politicized immigrant fear from the perspective of science. Because science, technology, engineering, and medical innovation in this country rests on the backs of immigrants. 43% of doctoral-based scientists in this country are foreign-born, a significant proportion of which are here on visas. A significant reason for why the Allied powers won World War II and the subsequent generation of innumerable industries based in the sciences in this country is because the US assimilated brainpower from refugees in Europe fleeing fascism and eradication. If you're not a scientist, I can see how it would be difficult to understand this, but scientific innovation and progress is global enmeshment. I am an American scientist, but I am also a foreign junior scientist in a European country. I worked at the Cleveland Clinic and Massachusetts General Hospital, two of our largest ivory towers in this nation, and cumulatively over half of my research colleagues were immigrants. So please understand that rhetoric and propagandized fear of immigrants is literally just that. Keep the American public afraid and divided as a form of control. But you're not afraid, because you know better.
Some people online have been able to point out the racism and double standard in this deportation. It seems like ICE is just targeting some certain people based on their skin color. People are saying they are yet to hear people complain that Canadians are taking their jobs. The reason why they are not hearing that is because Canadians are white. Some people are saying that the brown and the black immigrants are treated like they are threats to the country, while the white ones are given silent passes. To be honest with you, what ICE is doing, what people are saying, what I've seen online, everything concerning this deportation is tilting more towards xenophobia. It has less to do with the economy of the country.
Talk about being a white illegal immigrant in America. I was born in America, but my father was not. He was born in Sweden. My parents, when they got married, they came over here legally. My dad got a work visa and then a green card. Eventually, my father lost his job, his green card expires, and he stays in America. My father is now considered an illegal immigrant. My father was arrested multiple times, did drugs, all while not having legal documentation. They never once threatened to deport him. Why? He's white! It's because he's white! Like, y'all, are you not seeing what I'm seeing? If you're a white person talking about, oh no, we're deporting them because they're illegal, you're racist! You're racist! Because you wouldn't deport a white person!
When we were seeing the influx of immigrants that were actually white from Europe, I'm talking about the Irish, I'm talking about the Italians, the same crackdown was not enforced. These individuals are still here in America today. They were not deported. You could probably count with your hand the amount that were actually deported. The majority of them remained in America until they were able to have the right to become citizens. And until they had the right to become citizens, they were giving the rights that undocumented immigrants did have. But now that the immigrants happen to be a bit darker, those same privileges are stripped away from them. And now we're supposed to just accept the fact that they're protecting us. They're not protecting us. They're practicing imperial agendas.
See a lot of sense in what you're saying. If you don't know what's going on, a couple of weeks back, Trump decided to import some white South Africans that were living their best life in their country. According to him, he claimed that there was a genocide that the people living in the country were not aware of. How can you be in America and you are aware of a genocide going on in the country, but when the people in the country were asked about it, nobody knew what he was talking about? He imported over 8,000 white South Africans that were already suppressing the black South Africans. Of course, if you don't know what's going on in South Africa, there's this appetite. The white ones are the ones eating the flesh of the cow. They have the bigger portion of everything, while the black ones are being given the bones and the crumbs and all that. You get the point. Yeah, so they are living their best life, but he's claiming that they were suffering, that they were being marginalized. Who is going to believe that the white people in South Africa are being marginalized? No, the black ones are the ones being marginalized. Back to the story. Trump decided to import them to America. He has done that already, and he's granting them asylum after saying that he will be ending some asylum program. Make it make sense. So I get what people are saying. It's more of racism. I get it. I think the focus should be changed. I think that statement should be changed. Instead of people saying that immigrants are taking their job, why don't they focus on the companies and ask them, why are you people underpaying? Why are you people hiring less of the locals? We'll know why. They are underpaying because they have more immigrants to do the job, and they would rather go for the immigrants because the locals are expensive to employ. And that has nothing to do with the immigrants, because they are there hustling, trying to survive. Take it up with the government and the companies. The government needs to have policies in place that will make sure that the companies consider citizens first before giving jobs. And let's be very honest with ourselves. We know that citizens are not willing to do the dirty jobs. They're not willing to do some certain types of jobs. So if they don't do it, who is going to do it? And if no one is there doing the job, what is going to happen to the food? What is going to happen to the economy? The other time, some farmers came out and they were crying that Trump has chased all their workers away with the whole deportation stuff. They don't have anyone to pick fruits. How many citizens do you know that are willing to pick fruits? And how many farmers do you know that have a lot of money to pay citizens high wage? Please let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.